The year is 1775. The American colonies, though hundreds of miles from Britain, feel the weight of royal rule. Taxes on everyday items like paper, glass, and tea stir unrest in the colonies. Yet many colonists still hope for reconciliation. But across the land, whispers of independence grow louder. The spark that will ignite a revolution is about to be lit. By 1773, the Tea Act became the breaking point. It granted the British East India Company exclusive rights to sell tea in the colonies, fueling anger and resentment. In response, a group of patriots in Boston took bold action. Disguised as Native Americans, they boarded British ships and dumped 342 chests of tea into the harbor, an act of defiance that would be remembered as the Boston Tea Party. This rebellious act sparked widespread protests and united the colonies in their desire for independence. What do you think this bold move symbolized for the colonies? In response to the Tea Party, Britain passed the Coercive Acts, also known as the Intolerable Acts, in 1774. These laws were designed to punish Massachusetts by closing its port and limiting local government, but instead of breaking the colony's spirit, they united them. Colonies sent food and supplies to help Boston, and a collective resistance began to form. The call for independence grew stronger. On April 19, 1775, British soldiers marched to Lexington and Concord to seize weapons and arrest colonial leaders. The colony's militias, known as the Minutemen, stood in their way. At Lexington, the first shots of the revolution were fired. The British, though they won the battle at Lexington, were forced to retreat at Concord, where they faced fierce resistance from the colonists. The revolution had begun. As the war progressed, the Continental Congress took bold steps. In 1775, they formed the Continental Army, with George Washington appointed as commander-in-chief. Washington, a veteran from the French and Indian War, had the experience and leadership needed to guide the fledgling army. Though poorly equipped and outnumbered, his soldiers were united in a shared vision, the fight for freedom. By 1776, the American colonies had endured years of conflict, but it was time to make a formal stand. On July 4th, the Second Continental Congress adopted the Declaration of Independence, a document that declared the colonies' break from Britain. Written by Thomas Jefferson, it boldly proclaimed that all men are created equal, with the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. This declaration wasn't just words on paper, it was the birth of a new nation. Though the war was still uncertain, the Battle of Saratoga in 1777 became a turning point. The Americans, under General Horatio Gates, successfully defeated the British. This victory was crucial because it convinced France to openly support the American cause. The French sent soldiers, ships, and funds to help the colonies in their fight. With their aid, the Continental Army was reinvigorated, and the tide of war began to turn in favor of the Americans. In 1781, the Continental Army, along with their French allies, had cornered the British forces at Yorktown, Virginia. General Cornwallis and his troops were surrounded, with no route of escape. After weeks of siege, Cornwallis was forced to surrender, effectively ending the war. This victory marked the triumph of the American cause, and the world watched as the young nation secured its independence. In 1783, after years of negotiation, the Treaty of Paris was signed, officially recognizing the United States of America as an independent nation. The British acknowledged America's freedom, and the borders of the new country were established. It was a moment of triumph for the Patriots who had fought so hard to create a nation built on liberty and justice. Though the war was over, the journey was far from finished. The fledgling nation now faced the challenge of building a government based on its revolutionary ideals. In 1787, the U.S. Constitution was adopted, establishing a framework for the new government. It was a bold experiment in democracy, one where the people would have a voice in their government and their rights would be protected. The American Revolution was more than just a war for independence. It was a movement that would change the world. The ideas of liberty, equality, and self-governance that were born in 1776 continue to inspire people today. The United States, though still young, became a beacon of freedom, and its revolution set the stage for future movements toward democracy and human rights across the globe. What do you think of the American Revolution? Did we miss anything important in this story? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this journey through history, make sure to hit that subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, and share this video with your friends. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss another story from the past.